this was marketed as DNA proven semen, and this is affecting us right now. And a lot of farmers might think, wow, we're not affected by it, but it could quite easily be them next year. There's nothing to stop it from happening to another group of shareholders over another issue next year.
South Waikato farmer Craig Litton says he's been paying Livestock Improvement Corporation, or LIC, around $50,000 a year to use its semen to inseminate his heifers. It was therefore a shock to him, he says, when LIC refused to compensate him for 8 calves that were born with defective genes.
I definitely want compensation out of this, and I also want them to be more accountable with the products that they're selling and the way that they communicate to their shareholders.
Defective traits include being more of a stockier beef breed, being hairier than normal, which leads to some of them jumping in water troughs or rolling in puddles to cool off, and not milking well. In fact, sometimes they may calve down completely dry. Litton is one of 900 affected farmers nationwide who own 1,500 defective calves, all daughters of a Holstein Friesian bull named Matrix, who inherited the defective gene from his sire Halcyon. General Manager of Genetics at LIC, Peter Gatley, says if the company was to compensate all farmers involved, it would cost almost $2 million. And besides that, the board decided compensation will not be paid as it is a naturally occurring genetic mutation and therefore not something LIC is responsible for.
Mutations do occur sort of routinely. Mutations of this nature obviously quite unusual, but they do occur from time to time. And that's part of the risk involved in dealing with the biological process. You know, there are some risks that we simply have no control over.
And he says the company has had to bear costs as well.
Quite aside from the fact that, you know, the business has already lost $500,000 worth of bulls, you know, there's been a pretty substantial investment in research to identify exactly what the causative mutation is.
But solicitor and law lecturer at Auckland University, Ray Neild, says Litton and other affected farmers have a case well worth pursuing, according to legislation such as the Fair Trading Act.
You're talking to one of the few lawyers who happens to have a degree in cell biology, and there's a lot of questions that I would want to ask about that. Is it a true mutation or a breeding error? Did they test Halcyon, the sire's sire? And is it truly a spontaneous mutation? We don't know that.
And she says as an ex-businesswoman, she's surprised by LIC's reaction.
If they're saying we would have to give back $1.93 million, then there's obviously a lot of money that they've taken from the farmers in order to reach that particular stage anyway. So they've got a credibility issue, which in a way is almost more important than the legal issues.
The cooperative company is offering free genetic tests to identify calves with a defect and is suggesting humane culling of the animals. And as for Matrix and his sire Halcyon...
Well, yeah, they'll be hamburger by now, yeah.
John Watson, Waikato, Country 99 TV News.